It's time to sit back, relax, and have a good time with Knee High to the Tree High. Your host, the Naked Truth, Marcus McNeil, and the Real Spill, Jonathan Pump, coming with their unique perspective on sports and life from elementary school together all the way to the NFL. You can't piss on them and tell them it's raining. Knee High to the Tree High starts now.
Let's go.
Oh yeah, man. Welcome back to Knee High to the Tree High, man. It's your boy Mark. That's your boy P. And I got my boy J Cam, man, on with us today.
Man, the myth, and the legend.
What's up, fellas?
Hey man. We appreciate you coming on the show.
Man.
Hey, man.
We are here, man.
I always come on the show for my offensive lineman that blocked for me. I saw Ingle and Danny Lindsay and Brett Edens not too long ago, and we was all out and everything, and we was talking about it'd be kind of cool to get all the guys back together. But I said, hey, it's all about trying to get fettuccine hair out in San Diego to come back.
Oh, he's talking about the loss.
That man called it, man. Hold on.
Hey, he got the fettuccine Alfredo, man.
Man trying to be Killmonger, man. He trying to be Killmonger.
I'm just saying.
Hey, y'all like the hey, they like it. The ladies love the hairstyle. You know what I'm saying?
All right, now listen.
LL
We
Mac.
live. We don't need you getting your head jumped on. We're talking about the lady.
I don't want your wife jumping on us talking about
No, it's gonna be your fault, J Cam. It's gonna be your fault.
No.
I ain't got nothing to do with that.
Hey man, we appreciate y'all coming, man. This J Cam, man. If y'all don't know, he was the starting quarterback for our 04 undefeated team. You know what I'm saying? SEC Player of the Year, Sugar Bowl MVP. You know what I'm saying? All-American this, All-American that. First round pick for the Washington. We gonna call them the Commanders. They used to be the Redskins.
I played for the
Redskins. Yeah. And the one and only big and tall chapstick model. You know what I'm saying?
Which guy you got the strawberry kind? What kind of you, man? What's the best kind, man?
Hey, it's all good. I'm gonna keep it real professional on y'all tonight. I'm not even gonna talk about.
I appreciate it, man.
JP and Big Mark. I'm gonna keep it professional with y'all tonight. But
okay.
You my dog. Listen, don't let nobody tell you nothing different, man.
Don't be adding all NFL Network on us now. This Knee High to the Tree High now,
man.
Man.
Yeah, JP always walking around campus with a towel around his neck. I'm like, dude, how much can you sweat in a day?
Listen, when you got this ball, look at the ball
when
head,
football over with, you go back on campus and you see him at a game, he still got a towel around his neck.
I still got the same ball head, man. Look, the ball head ain't got nothing. Look, no follicles and anything to catch any sweat. It just comes straight from out there and just drip down, man. Come on, man.
Hey man, them fat people problem. You ain't got to worry about sweating.
You got nothing to worry about that,
man. Just get on the Peloton, bro.
The Peloton ain't gonna help me, man.
Nah, forget that Peloton. I'm trying to get on a honey bun. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I'm on this whole 30 diet right now, bro.
Bro, that cause you trying to get all the women in the ATL.
No, I just got married, so I can't get nobody.
Hold on, bro. You didn't get married.
Boy, buck like that up, boy.
Oh boy, you didn't get married now.
Yeah, man. Me and my wife, we had a little intimate. Yeah, we had an intimate ceremony with just our immediate family and everything. And when it took a small trip and everything.
I would love to find out who your wife is, bro.
Hey.
Because I feel like
you've seen her. You'll see her.
Cause you got kind of, you know what I'm saying?
Wait,
I ain't trying to get you in no trouble, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I done seen you with
I'm
it.
trying to
You know what I mean? I don't know.
I'm trying to figure out, P. I'm trying to figure out where the invitation is, P. Like
I just told y'all it was a private, intimate ceremony with just our immediate family. We didn't have a big ceremony. We wanted to keep it real.
Obviously, you didn't. I didn't know you were serious about somebody, bro. I didn't know you was a fiance, man.
Yeah, man. We just trying to get our lives going, man. We went into, because we got so many friends and so many people to invite, but so much stuff going on and everything. We just like, man, we don't want to be trying to wait around and just trying to wait to find a venue and wait to send out invitation, wait to get answers before we can decide how many people. Like we just like, look, at this point in stage of our lives,
life's too short, man.
All right, this stage of our lives, we're just all about. It's about us just getting married and getting moving forward our lives. So,
Well, hey, look, man, congratulations, bro. So that's how long now?
I appreciate it, man. I'm 2 weeks in the game.
Oh, okay.
2 weeks? I'm about to say.
Fresh.
Yeah,
hey, I felt like I was out of the loop, but 2 weeks, you fresh.
Yeah, I'm fresh.
No, I knew he had just did it. I was
fresh off the honeymoon. You still wet behind the ear.
All right, I'm still getting adjusted. I'm still getting adjusted to married life. Used to sharing everything.
I didn't know you got married. Congratulations, bro. I was just talking bad about you too.
Yeah, man.
It's all good. Hey,
I joined the club.
Hey, way to go down to Fulton County and get that marriage certificate real quick. It don't make no sense spend all that money. You spend that $20.
Hold on. First and foremost, we didn't just go to no courthouse, bro. I told you we had a small ceremony.
It's okay, bro.
It's
all right. Small intimate ceremony, man. With about 20
people. They do ceremonies at the courthouse, bro.
I know they do, but that ain't it, though, bro. That ain't it.
They do ceremonies now. Come on now. It's okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Matter of fact, our former teammate married us.
Who?
Mayo. Pastor Mayo.
Yeah, Mayo. Oh. That boy said Rose Green. Not no Rose Green, bro. You talking about Joe Walker. Joe Walker, I mean.
Father God. Y'all roll for that. Boy, y'all roll
nigga
for that.
Father God, my nigga, I appreciate it.
Yeah, Joe's
bringing these two together.
One of a kind, boy.
Shout out to Mayo, because Mayo made the biggest turnaround, man.
Mayo made a huge turnaround. Mayo started a church in Atlanta called Live Atlanta. So
I think I saw that too.
Yeah, he doing some big things, man. Guy that went through it all, got locked up, came out, got married. Now got 3 kids. Turned his whole life around, man. So he's having an impact on the community now. So big shout out to him.
Hey, man. Anybody doing the Lord's work, man, I'm supporting you 110%. But that's my brother since day one anyway.
Yeah.
So
and a lot of people can respect Mayo. Like Mayo lived the streets, and then now when he go talk to people, it's not like they can't say, "Oh, I can't turn my life around," cause everybody know like Mayo was like on threads, and now you know what I'm saying. You look at him, he like at a whole nother level. So.
Whole different vibe,
so
man.
You see what God did for him, man. Like it just gives, he's just a walking testimony.
Yeah, I respect that growth though. Yeah, right. Like that's the biggest thing. When I see Mayo, I see a whole different light in him. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I can't wait to see him when I come back today. I'm definitely gonna check out his church, man.
Yeah, when you come back today.
Don't worry about that, man. We gotta get on to J-Can. Stop worrying about me.
I'm just wondering, bro. You done went out there to San Diego and got brand new, man.
The man done moved away, man. The man followed the CBD, man.
He brand new out there, man.
Good.
Eating all kind of burritos, man.
Hey, man, y'all. Don't worry about me, man. Y'all know how the West Coast was. Both of y'all enjoyed it out here.
I did. Right? I like the West Coast.
Right.
I like the West Coast.
It's nice. It was a good place to stop and then come on back.
Right.
Hey, whatever, man. Hey, speaking of football, man, and all the moves we make, man. Straight to you, J-Cam, bro. Hey, just tell us a little bit about. We always talk about the transition to try and give the next generation and the people we want to give advice to and everybody else coming up behind us, what it was like, you know what I'm saying, for different players to experience that transition from high school to college and then from college to the pros. So what was that transition like for you?
Well, for me, man, coming out of
a young 15-year-old J-Cam.
Yeah, coming out of high school, I was the number 2 quarterback in the nation when I came out. And so when I came to Auburn, it was a tough decision. It came down between Auburn, LSU, and Georgia for the most part. Mississippi State, was up there, but my brother went to school there, so I kind of wanted to write my own script by going to another school. And Auburn was a team I always visited since I was a sophomore in high school, going to the quarterback camp they used to have there, Bowden Academy. So, man, I tell these kids now, man, we didn't have social media when I came through, and look where they still found me at. I was from Taylorsville, small town. I only got a 4-way stop. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you blink,
you got 16 people.
Yeah, if you blink, you miss it. And I'm just like, these guys be posting stuff nowadays trying to look for attention. I'm just like, dude, they found me when it wasn't all of this in one of the smallest towns in the U.S. I'm just like, so if you do what you got to do and you handle your business, you know, it'll always find you. And I just think these young guys nowadays, they need to realize that they can't be bought either. You know, I think a lot of these guys, somebody flash a little money in their face or something, and then that makes them make their decision. You can't make your decision off money. You know, you got to follow your heart and follow out what's the best situation for you, and to play ball so that you can have a future. And I just think a lot of these guys, man, they just got to get back to understanding who they are first and foremost. But for me, I was fortunate, and then once I went to Auburn, it was all about resetting the bar. You can come in there as a 5-star recruit, but there's a lot of 5-star recruits, 4-star recruits, 3-star recruits, and you got to reestablish yourself and show everybody, you know, that you belong. And then the next step is, you know, your work ethic. Everybody's kind of watching like what you do, what's your work ethic, and you know, going through so many coordinators in college, I try not to make an excuse for myself. I always just try to take something from each one, because nowadays as that happens, the first thing kids want to do is transfer. And I'm just like, man, in order to reach success, you got to go through some form of adversity, and that's to teach you and to grow you and to mature you. It's not always supposed to be handed to you in a red carpet, but once you go through it, you appreciate things more. You appreciate life more. You appreciate the opportunities more. But a lot of these kids feel like everything got to start so fast for me right then and there. If it doesn't happen right off the bat, then this not the place for me, or I need to go here or go there. And that's not how it's supposed to be. Like, you have to work your way up, and then that way you respect everything that you've done, and you earn the respect of others around you because it wasn't handed to you. Like, you had to earn it. And then going on to the league, you know, transition to the NFL, you know, it's tough as a quarterback. It's the most highest position in all of professional sports, because, you know, so much you can't control and so much you can control, but you got to be able to have a balance. But you also got to be understanding of, don't let the money change you. You got to work as hard as you did before once you get to the league, just to stay there, because as soon as you get there, they're already trying to replace you. And if you want to have a 10-year career, or, you know, 15-year career, you know, whatever your desire is, because not everybody desire to play 15, 20 years like, you know, Tom Brady and some of these other guys. Some guys only desire to play 10 years. And, you know, they want to move on and do something else in life, and there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, though, you got to put in, whatever you put in, that's what you're going to get out of it.
Hey man, hey, you spoke to two things that, like, I promise you, I almost give verbatim, like word for word, to guys going from like high school to college, as far as like resetting that bar. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the most important part. Like, whatever you come out in high school, you gotta leave that in your past. Besides you going back to your hometown, just kicking shit with your boys and, you know, talking about the good old days, you gotta leave that in the past. Because like you say, everybody come in like piped up when they come to college. Like, everybody's a 4-star, 5-star, especially the big D1 school. So it's like, you gotta be hungry enough to prove yourself again, and not to rest on the morals of like, oh, I'm the big man on campus because I was this guy in my town, you know. And then the second part, like, when you get to the league, it's like, people got to realize it's a business. You know what I'm saying? Like, people come in and, like, you got to realize that it's only a 53-man roster. It's only a certain amount of spots slotted. It ain't no, like, walk-ons that can still come out to practice and do all this. You know, we got you got practice squad, which is a few guys, like 8, 9 guys, but that's not enough to hang your hat on. So it's like, you got to go in there like, this is a job opportunity where people are trying to take food off your table. So you got to come at it every day hungry to, like, stay competitive in the NFL, right? So that's good shit that I know you're giving people, bro.
Hey, that was some good information, man. Tell me this, though. When you was coming out of Auburn, bro, you knew you was going, like, they had you slated as the first round?
Yeah, when I was coming out of Auburn, like I said, like, our whole backfield went first round. You know, we're the only college backfield in college football history, you know, to have their whole backfield go to the first round. And
so, I ain't even know that.
A lot of people don't
something about when
a lot of people don't know that.
Name was called,
yeah, we was the first. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't know that, because I kind of get upset with Auburn sometimes, because we don't justify a lot of our athletes that come through there. You know, you have to win the Heisman before they kind of justify. You go to that other school across the state, man, they got every player that's came through their program that's gone on to the next level on the wall somewhere. And if you recruiting and recruits come in, they see that, you know, like they need to know that, dang, Marcus McNeil was a Pro Bowler for the San Diego Chargers, blocked for the LaDainian Tomlinson and Phillip Rivers and everything, and made Pro Bowls. They need to know that, dang, he was an Atlanta guy that came out of Auburn. So the next Atlanta kid that come through Auburn, they gonna say, oh shoot, I remember him. I want to try to transition, do like he did. You know what I'm saying? So, like me from Mississippi, I go to Auburn, you know, become, I think, the first quarterback at Auburn to go first round. And then all of a sudden, you know, Cam goes a couple years later. But at the same time, though, when kids come from Mississippi and they see a kid that came from Mississippi that did something at Auburn, it lights up a red flare because they can relate. So we have to do a better job of making sure that history don't get lost. Like, nobody talks enough about the 2014 because they don't have a national title beside it. We probably was the best team to ever come through Auburn, and it wasn't our fault we didn't get a chance to play a national championship game, but you almost feel like they talk about us as a bystander sometimes. And instead of embracing it and putting it up there and letting it be known, like, dang, this is one of our great teams. 1993, that undefeated team, even though they was on probation, it was one of Auburn's great teams. That need to be escalated.
To be honest, bro, I don't feel like they really, until we came through, I don't feel like they started putting the respect on the SEC like they should have. Because nowadays, if you go undefeated SEC, guaranteed, slated, college playoffs, back in the day, BC, all that title game. Yeah. But when we come through, I really felt like the SEC wasn't that standout league that it is now. You know what I'm saying? And we kind of, I feel like, really paved the way to that. So that kind of speaks on what you're saying. Like, we got to respect that in history.
So you think LSU won it in what, 2003? I think LSU won in 2003. The next year, they didn't even go undefeated that year they won it. The next year, we go undefeated. They jip us from going to the national championship game. After us, the SEC won a national championship 7 years in a row. And there was teams on there that had 1 loss, 2 loss. They got a chance to play in the national championship game, all because, you know, they know we was the strongest conference, and it just started to open up a lot of doors and a lot of eyes. So, you know, I always say our team had a lot to do with history, changing a lot of history. It also started to talk about the playoff system, which it took a couple of years for them to implement, but it all started after that year and everything. So, you know, we helped change a lot of things. Like I said, we didn't get a chance to play the national championship game, but, you know, we definitely was right there and should have been right there and should have been crowned national champs. But, you know, we did do a lot of things to help change history of college football.
Hey, J-Cam, man. So, hey, tell us a little bit about being a black quarterback.
Man, we done already had a discussion, man. The boy ain't black, man.
What is it, bro?
Hey, man.
A quarterback of color.
Oh, my God. This guy here, bro.
Talk about being a quarterback of color in the NFL, man. Shoot, college, whatever, man.
I tell you what, man. It is as much as you don't like to say it, it is a double standard. You do have to do things twice as good to even receive the same type of recognition, or even to get paid the same, or even be in a conversation of getting paid the same. It is, and it's unfair, but at the same time, I try not to let that, you know, be a guard of mine. When I was playing, you know, I'm a believer in God, and I always say He opens doors that others can't. So regardless of how somebody look at you or try to tell you what you can do or can't do, they don't get the last say so. So, you know, I used to always go by that motto, and I still do now in life. So, you know, being a black quarterback, though, you have to make sure that you carry yourself in a professional way. And the reason I say that is it's unfair, but one, they judge all by what one do. And I know this for a fact. When Jamarcus Russell went through what he had to go through, I ended up going to the Oakland Raiders in a trade. And as soon as I got there, they was talking about certain things. And I was just like, Coach.
What?
Yeah, I was just like, Coach. I was just like, just because Jamarcus did these certain things, I was just like, we're not the same people. Just because we the same color don't mean we do the same thing. I said, you're passing judgment on me, and just because of what somebody else did. But when it comes to them, that never happens. And that's the thing we have to get over. And it still happens in society. Like, we still in a place where, if one black kid messes up or one black kid act really crazy, they think all of us that way. Just because a kid wears his hat backwards, oh, he's a thug, he's this, he's that. No. If a white kid wear their head backwards, you're not calling them a thug or anything. So
they actually a little bit cool.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like, they gonna say, yeah, that's a cool dude right there. You know what I'm saying? So we have to get out of this stage, man, where if a black quarterback, if one messes up or doing something, don't put that off on the next one. So it's so important that I'm telling guys now, like, look, carry yourself in a different way, in a different professional manner. Because whether you like it or not, like, others gonna have to pay for that, you know. So I've always thought what I did at Auburn or how I handled myself at Auburn was gonna open the doors for the next black quarterbacks to come through. Because if I don't handle it, or if I go crazy or act crazy or take advantage when I get the opportunity to do something, and I, you know, choose to do something opposite of what's the right thing to do, then I just shut the door on the next 5 black quarterbacks to get an opportunity to come to Auburn. So it's the same way in the NFL. You're always paying it forward to the next kid to get the opportunity. So if whatever you do now, it matters not just for you, but think about somebody other than yourself. Think about the next guy that's going to come into the NFL that's a brother, and you want that organization to give him a chance, because they're going to say, well, shoot, the last brother that we had, he was a stand-up guy, he was respectful, he worked hard, he busted his tail. So I'm willing to give somebody else a chance. But if you come through that door and you act like a butthole, or you're standoffish, or you know, it's very all about you and everything, you don't handle it the right way, then the next thing is you kind of shut the door on the next guy, because you just made it harder for the next guy to get on the team.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. That's what's up.
That to be honest, bro, like, I ain't even know Jamarcus like really set the stage for you, but it makes sense though, because what they pick him, number 1 or number 2 overall?
He was the first.
I'm gonna tell you like that. I fool with Jamarcus though.
Yeah, he was the first pick in Oakland. He was the first pick in Oakland, and he didn't really have a mentor when he was out there, and you know what I'm saying. So nobody really kind of helped him or guided him. So there's certain things, some certain decisions and stuff he made. You know, everybody was talking about the lean and stuff and all of that at the time, but they didn't have a mentor. And then when I got there in the spring, I was trying to help him, but they had already made the decision that they was going to release him and try to give him an opportunity somewhere else. But I'm just like, when I got there and I saw all the stuff, I'm just like, dang, you know, like, the kid really didn't have a mentor to help guide him. He needed an older veteran in that locker room.
Bro, I tell you one thing, he took care of the old lineman, that's for sure. He ain't need no vet. He ain't no vet on that. We had a good time. We had a good time out there. What you talking about?
Bro, what you talking about? Cause he taking you around like.
Yo, we had a good time out there, man.
Nah, see, you can't have a good time on the mind.
Everybody get an ace of spade going out. You know what I'm talking about?
You have a good time off the field. But
yeah, I know, man. I know.
But I'm talking about who's teaching him to be a pro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
Who's helping him, guide him to be like, hey, man, whatever you do off the field, that's your business. But when you do in the locker room, though, I need you to stay after hours. I need you to study film. I need you to, you know, grind and try to put forth the extra effort, like, you know, showing people that you really care. But also, the organization gotta care for him as well. But what I'm saying is, because of certain things that he didn't do, when they traded for me and I got there, immediately one coach tried to judge me as the same as what he did. And I was just like, I had to show him that I was different. But one, I was older than Jamarcus, so I was a little bit more mature. But at the same time, though, I was upset because, dude, you already tried to put down on me before I even stepped foot in the door good.
I ain't gonna lie, I could look at Jamarcus and you and know y'all two different people, though. I mean,
but the thing is though, like, it's not like Jamarcus is a bad person.
They not looking at him like that though.
Nah, it wasn't like you said. Like you say, I feel like he just had the wrong. Like, he didn't have a mentor around him, right, or somebody to show him the ropes. Like, I still remember. You know, this is a crazy story. I think one of Jamarcus Russell people got me for a big screen TV back in the day, and he had so many people around. Yeah, I swear, bro, it sound crazy, right? But you know how, like, we all from Jamarcus from what, Mobile or something like that. Yep. So he got like people around him and stuff. And I remember we down in like the Senior Bowl, so I hung out with some of his people and stuff like that. It was like one, I can't remember who the dude was, right? So he come around, you know what I'm saying? Oh, Jamarcus Russell this, Jamarcus Russell that. Like, we hanging out and stuff. He with him, but he ain't really with him, right? Yeah. And he was like, hey, I got these deals on these new flat screen TV. That's when the plasma first came out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I was like, oh yeah, bet, run that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, bro, I sent him the money, right, for the TV. Did the TVs ever come?
No, you already know that, cuz.
Hey, I already know, right? You know what I'm saying? So like,
old school hustler, man.
Old school hustle, right? But I thought he had to do plasmas and stuff like that. But I say all that to say from that situation, I was like, oh shit, you got a whole bunch of crooks around you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got a whole bunch of people trying to take advantage of the situation. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't no skin on my back. You know what I mean? Like, I was gonna buy TVs regardless when I moved to San Diego, but I thought I was getting a hookup, right?
See,
but
he didn't have enough. He didn't have enough no people around him. He had too many yes people around him. You know, like JP was saying, like, yeah, you go out and kick it with your lineman. Y'all have ace of spade and everything. So if he's doing that with the lineman, what is he doing with the regular people then?
Yeah,
you know
man.
what I'm saying? That comes in from out of town. They there to party and have a good time. You know what I'm saying? Well, he still got to stay focused and locked in. But if everybody just around him just want to party and have a good time, his mind could be all on partying and having a good time, but not realizing the opportunity that's in front of him. That's the first pick in the draft. Like, how he can set the standard for the next guy that comes along to be the first pick in the draft. That's an African American
next 10 guys.
You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody was there to kind of tell him that. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey man, you're setting the bar for the next guys that come out of college that are African American quarterbacks that can go first pick in the draft. You don't want to make it hesitant on them because of some of your actions. So I think had he gotten that early from a mentor or something, I believe it would have helped him handle things a little bit differently. And like I said, the organization got to help him as well. But like I said, though, like, you know how it is, they pay you all that money and the first thing they say, you need to figure it out, you know. But it's a tough situation because, you know, it's just harder, bro. It's just harder.
It is.
Well, talk about being a quarterback of color.
A color guy.
At Auburn, bro. Like, listen, man. To be honest, I didn't even know you was the number 2 quarterback coming out?
Yeah, in the nation. Quarterback coming out in the nation.
So I didn't even know that. So, like, when you get there, we got Daniel Cobb. Now, for the life of me, he was my first real, like, white boy experience. Like, when it came to white boys trying to be.
What was the song that was playing?
I can't remember the song, man. But he had. I know you remember he used to have that Jeep, right?
Yep. You had that Jeep.
So he pulled up on us.
You remember what was playing, Pete?
I can't think of it right now. What was it?
Bro, he was playing that Kaya. My neck.
Oh, my neck and my back. Yeah, you right. Man, the dude pulled up to us. He cranked that thing up, man. Me and Mark looked at each other like, man, these white boys do down here? He was like, man, we gonna love this. So that was my first white boy experience. But you coming in to Daniel Cobb, you number 2 quarterback in the nation. You tell me what was promised to you or what was said to you to even get you to come to Auburn.
Well, the thing was, they didn't promise anything. Like, you know, Coach Tubb and the staff said, hey, man, you know, you're our highest recruit, you know, probably our biggest recruit signee since Bo Jackson. And I remember that coming in, and he was just like, we want you to be a 4-year starter, but we're probably going to redshirt you right off the bat because I was 170 pounds coming out of high school. So he wanted me to get a little bit bigger. Yeah. He wanted me to get a little bit bigger. Matter of fact, our whole recruiting class, they don't do that nowadays, but our whole recruiting class, Ronnie came in with us, Carlos Rogers came in with us, Spencer Johnson came in, Carlos Dansby, all of us came together on our recruiting visit, and all of us committed to come to Auburn. And when we got to Auburn, everybody redshirted except for Carlos Dansby and Spencer Johnson. Our whole class redshirted. Now if you do that, kids gonna be like, I ain't redshirted. But because their ego get in the way. But for us, though, we know we needed to gain a little bit more. We know we needed to get some little bit more experience before we hit the playing field and everything. But that's the thing. I was supposed to play both sports. And like I said, I had offers from every Big Ten, every, you know, Pac-12 or Pac-10, whatever they called it back then, ACC, SEC. But the whole goal is it wasn't no promises. Because my daddy said, if anybody can promise you something and you're not yet on their campus, it makes me think that they may be lying. Because how can you promise me, but what about the next kid that you recruiting? Are you promising him too? And
I mean, the promises are you throwing out?
I think that's what some of these mistakes that some of these coaches make is they tell these parents, they tell these kids, hey, I'm going to promise your son he's starting day one just to get him there. Then he get there, and he's not mature enough and ready to be a starter day one, but then you thrust him out there anyway because you promised it to him. Now that can kind of shatter his career because he can get shell-shocked early on rather than him understanding like, nah, I need to just wait a little bit, just mature a little bit more, grow a little bit more, learn a little bit more, and then when that opportunity presents itself, I can kind of hit the ground running. But these kids nowadays, we live in a popcorn society. They want instant success. They've been a 5-star, 4-star all in their high school career. Everybody's been in their ear. Everybody's telling them how great they are. And then once they get to college, they feel like, no, dude, I got to be started. I'm not trying to start off on no second string. I'm not trying to be red shirt. I'm not trying. No, I need to be a starter day one. Yeah. And not realizing that they're missing their opportunity because your time is limited. You know, so time you get to college campus, the clock starts. But you can make it go faster than you want, or you may go slower than you want. Like Ronnie always say, why do some of these kids rush to end their careers? Because that's what a lot of them are doing.
Yeah. Well, so you kind of spoke on it a little bit, man. We touched on it a little bit. Considering what we have now in 2022, I call it college free agency. It's basically what it is.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
If you had that kind of opportunity back when you were first in Auburn, do you think you would have took it? Considering the fact that there was
you talking about the transfer portal, right?
Yeah, the transfer portal. Yeah, there was a lot of. I mean, the team knew.
I know. Yeah, you talking about transfer.
Yeah, the team basically knew who should have been a starter, right? Yeah. But there was a lot of back and forth, boos and all this other stuff before, you actually could take over full time. Right. So you've been through that, right? But we know most guys nowadays not gonna do that. They're just gonna go ahead and say, "Coach, I'll holler at you." Right. So the question to you is, do you think you would have took that same route if the transfer portal was as hot as it is now?
I think it's a different time and era. I think back when we came through, it was all about, even when you was in high school, you got pushed around in the neighborhood, by some of the older guys, like toughing you up. Where now these kids, they ain't playing outside. Only time they play outside is when they're at school at practice. So, once they get to the college level, that's unfamiliar territory to them. Like I said before, where everybody's always used to patting you on your back. Now all of a sudden you're not the starter, then they instantly think like, oh, it's not gonna work out for me here. I'm gonna go somewhere else, because they always think the grass is greener on the other side. So what you think, you go somewhere else, you're not gonna have to compete for competition? Like, you're at a major D1 university. Like, there's always gonna be competition. I remember even when I became the starter, Brandon Cox was Mr. Football of Alabama. Mm-hmm. You think that stopped Auburn from offering him a scholarship because I was starting? No, they got a scholarship. So when he got there, I was cool with B. Cox. But at the same time, Brandon gonna push me, but I'm trying to be legendary. And at the same time though, like, there's always competition. Would I have got mad because they signed? Like, nowadays these kids get mad if you sign this year, the next year they sign a top quarterback. Oh, I'm out of here. Dang, you don't believe in yourself? Like, that's my thing here.
Like, that's crazy.
You should believe in yourself to know, like, no matter who they bring in here, this is my spot. I'm gonna do me. This is my spot. Like, because you gonna have to battle when you get to the league. If you want to stay in the NFL, you gotta battle. I was just like, so you always need to believe in yourself more, to the point that it doesn't matter who the next person is, that you gonna do what you gotta do to earn that spot. You gonna work super hard. You gonna put yourself in position to be the guy. And when that person, look, as long as I'm here, this is my spot. When I leave, okay, then it's time for you to take over. But you gotta have that mentality. A lot of these kids, they don't want competition. When competition comes up, they run.
They run it, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they've been handed everything from an early age, or because these high school, man, I coached high school for 3 years when I finished playing pro football. Bro, it was hard trying to recruit kids just to stay at your school. Because other coaches get in these kids' heads and tell, like, man, I use you like this, man. I have you doing this. I have you doing that if you come over here to our school. And next thing you know, the parents listening to that. And next thing you know, I'm just telling them, like, oh, really? I was just like, okay. I was just like, so because I'm coaching you hard, you want to run now. I like the greats want to be coached hard.
Let them go. Let them go.
I don't want somebody that's not willing to coach me so that I can improve. I was just like, I want somebody that's going to stay on me and care about me, because that means they want the best for me. Because when the coach stop talking to you, that's when you better get worried.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Hey, the bigger thing I always seen, bro, though, that, like, I understand the kid's supposed to work hard, right? But us as athletes, like you said, P, when you was there, you knew J. Cam was supposed to be starting. We knew J. Cam was supposed to be the starter, but it didn't happen. So I always wonder, like, why whoever, like, you know, that figure is in the league, like, whether that be NCAA or NFL, why do y'all continue to put inferior athletes on the field when you have superior athletes that you could take the battle with you? And the reason why I ask that question is, like, one, if I'm going to battle, right, half of it is like mental. So if I come out on the field and I got J. Cam, 6'6", 240, 230, and then I got Daniel Cobb, like, to me, the eye test wouldn't even pass for you to be like, okay, I'm going to put Daniel Cobb in front of J. Cam. I want J. Cam going out there, especially if y'all close, because I know whenever J. Cam walk on the field, you got a certain presence. You know what I'm saying? Like, so anybody who isn't ready mentally, I done beat half the team. Now all I got to deal with is the other half of the team that might be, like, mentally tough enough not to be scared of somebody's stature or physique. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to skill set, I just constantly am always baffled by the fact that, like, the best players don't play.
But think about it with Ronnie and Cadillac. Lat was the guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, Ronnie wasn't even getting that much playing time until Lat broke his fibula. And then the next year he broke his shoulder. And when Lat broke his fibula, that's when Ronnie got a lot of playing time. And then people saw how great Ronnie was. And then all of a sudden when Lat come back, guess what? They started utilizing both of them. And it prolonged both of them career. So instead of one getting mad and say, well, I'm out of here, neither one of them did that. They were both unselfish. They both stayed. They both shared the backfield. They both ended up being top 5 draft picks. So that's what these kids got to understand is what's for you is for you. Like, no matter what's going on around you, if something's meant for you to have, you're going to have it. But these kids think like, oh, if I'm not the guy that's getting 30 touches a game, then I'm out of here. No, what about if you get 15 touches a game, the other guy getting 17 touches a game? He just prolonged your career because you're not taking all those hits in college. So now you have a longer NFL career.
True.
And at the end of the day, both of y'all feeding off each other because y'all pushing each other, so it keeps both of you fresh. So when one comes in, the other goes out, man, you're hitting the defense right in the mouth. But a lot of kids don't think that way because they think, no, I got to solely have this thing by myself. It got to be me. But they don't understand that, dude, you're only shaving years off your NFL career if you get that far. But these kids nowadays, man, they're already thinking NFL once they come out of high school because that's what's put in their head. Now you have NIL deals. These guys are getting and everything. So now this is the other standpoint of how you going to deal with this as college athletes where some of your guys on the football team is making money and others are not. Like, and they all go to practice at the same time. They all get up at the same time to work out. They all dress out for the game. So how do you stop the rest of the team from being jealous and having envy, but being understanding to work together and understand how we can win games?
Hey, so J. Cam, you were telling me before we jumped on, you were saying that you were working a little bit with the NIL. How are you working in that capacity with the NIL?
Yeah, so I do the GM NIL at Auburn. So what I try to do is go out and try to help educate first and foremost the community to try to get them to give money to the NIL to understand that it's supporting our athletes on campus and it's not pay for play. Like, our kids have to get paid for their name, image, and likeness. So the kids have to do something, in retrospect in order to receive income. So, whether that's, NFTs or whether that's autograph signings or whether it's appearances, you have to do something with your name, image, and likeness to get paid. It's not like you can say, oh, I'm going to pay this kid because of what he's doing in the field. You can't do that. That's illegal. So when you see a lot of these people, these kids signing these contracts or NIL contracts and everything, yes, they have to uphold stuff off the field with their name, image, and likeness in order to receive their income. Like, if they don't play a down in college, they still get their money they signed for because they're getting paid for the name, image, and likeness, and not paid for play. So that's the thing that's other kids and people gotta realize, right? It's misunderstood, and it's tough, man. Like you see a lot of these kids, man. Some of these kids making crazy amounts of money, money that you probably wouldn't think they would make until they got to the NFL. So how are you going to influence an 18-year-old? Is somebody giving him, what would the kid from Alabama make last year, $1 million or something? The quarterback.
$1 million, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This is a 19-year-old quarterback. How do you keep him level-headed? But if you watch his Heisman speech and you see his parents, that's one reason. He has a solid foundation.
That's a great kid, boy.
Yeah. Solid foundation.
That's J Cam 2.0 right there, boy. While you playing,
man. Yeah, solid foundation. But what about the kids that don't have a solid foundation? What about the kids that receive so much pressure from immediate family? And they're 18, 19 years old, and they trying to play ball and then go to school. You know what I'm saying? But they got somebody pulling at them for this and that. So a lot of my job, man, is just trying to educate the kids, try to help them get NIL deals. Like I said, we can't do it till once they're on campus and they're signed a scholarship, but try to make them see the importance of it and not get taken advantage of, because now you have everybody pulling to come at you for all kind of reasons, and just trying to educate them, man, and be a mentor in a lot of ways. It's a tough job, but it's one I enjoy because I want to help all of them as much as we possibly can with what we're allowed to help with.
Yeah. Do you see any divide yet between the locker room because the guys make money, or is it just still the same?
Like for the most part, Auburn has a pretty good locker room, and like I try to tell some guys, whatever you do, don't talk about your money within the locker room. I say it because not everybody's happy for you, and I was just like, and at the end of the day, the job is to have everybody have an opportunity to make something. And that's going to take time, because you have to get people to understand what NIL is. You have to get people to get involved and and putting money into the NIL so you can take care of every athlete that's on campus and everything. But once you start talking about money within the locker room, that can sometimes create animosity. So when I talk to these guys, I constantly tell them, leave money out the conversation. You know what I'm saying? Like, focus on winning, working together, coming together for a common goal. But I say, I can tell you one thing for a fact. If all y'all focus on winning, all that's going to take care of itself. Your name and image and likeness is going to take off and go through the roof. Just focus on winning.
Wasn't nothing like that 2004 season, boy. Hey, you couldn't do no wrong, boy.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So
listen, I heard you say something about you working in the NIL, so you trying to get people to donate and all that stuff. So just kind of tell me, where does that money, like when somebody say I want to give $1,000 to the NIL, like what does that do?
Well, first and foremost, like I said, if you own a business or something, people that donate through their businesses, it's a tax write-off, for them as well through a business standpoint. But if you're an individual, the reason the NIL was created is to try to give everybody an opportunity to get involved. So even your everyday person can get involved if they wanted to. But the whole part about it is a great networking opportunity. Like I tell these guys now, that's part of our NIL is, guys, take advantage of this opportunity to get to know people in the business. Because honestly, not everybody's going pro. And I'm going to be as realistic as I possibly can. If there's 80 players, 5 players in 4 years will be lucky to play on an NFL team more than 2 to 3 years. And
unless you play at Auburn.
Yeah, so I gotta tell guys, man, like, this is a great chance for you to get to know businesses and for them to get to know you, because when you have these meet and greets and everything for people that's part of the NIL and the people that subscribe to be a part of the NIL, get to know them a little bit, because when you finish, it's just a phone call away saying, hey, I remember talking to you and everything, and they gonna remember the conversation. That may be a job opportunity for you down the road. And it's all about how you approach it and being professional again and handling it the right way. But when people donate to the NIL, you can choose to have, as far as like subscriptions or whatever, like where you want the money to be designated to. Whether you want a football program, basketball program, ladies soccer, gymnastics, whatever you wanted to, equestrian, wherever you wanted to donate it to, it can go directly to that program. And most of the time, that's how we take care of our kids. That's how we get them to, to participate in NIL, get paid for the names, image, and likeness, and that's pretty much like just how it flows. So it's just
Does it go directly to like?
No, so once they come through the NIL, 80% of the money goes to the athlete. The other 20% is for the NIL company. It's just like you are marketing when we was in the pros. Every time I got a marketing deal, I had to get a marketing company 20%, and then I took home 80%. So it's the same thing in NIL. It's to keep kids from having to get agents and stuff. Like cut the middleman out, because you basically get paid off your market value and your name, your image, and likeness. So it's not like negotiating the NFL contracts, where an agent can go in there and you're and negotiating against the salary cap. Like, it's not what we're doing here. Like, there's a budget that's in place. It's based off your subscription, based off the NIL, how much money is in the NIL, and what the market value of the kid is that we talk to, a third party to determine what that is. And the thing is, the kid's getting 80%, and then the 20% goes to the company that has to pay all the people that have to go drive here and go there and set up everything so that the NIL company can stay afloat. Because if you don't have an NIL company, then you don't have NIL. So, that's to be able to fund the NIL. So, these kids getting 80%, man. They still getting scholarship checks. They still get, they have so many opportunities nowadays to make income for themselves. Like, a lot of these kids going to leave college, man, doing really well for themselves. And even if they don't make it to the NFL, like I tell a lot of them, dude, if you don't make it to the NFL, you got a great start to life, because one, you have 0 student loans now. You had a scholarship. So now you leave college with 0 student loans, and you made some money through the college off your name, image, and likeness. So now you gotta, if you want to buy a house, you can buy a house. If you want to start a business, you can start a business. Like, you're not starting from 0.
Yeah. Is there a cap though? Like, is there a cap for a player?
Nah,
they just get 80%.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm about to go back to Auburn.
Man, I'm about to.
I got 1 more year. I got 1 more year eligibility at Auburn, boy. I'm about to go down there. Do what they do.
But yeah, it's no cap. Like, right now, it's the wild, wild west. Like, the NCAA kind of just said, like, hey, boom, here you go. Every school deal with it on your own, and everything. So you have to make sure that you're in compliance with what the school is doing, and all the rules and regulations, because you want to make sure kids, one, stay eligible.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, and two, make sure their sole focus is not on the money. Remember why you got to college. Remember the opportunity to take from going to college and everything. So that's my biggest fear, is a lot of kids just get solely just focus on the money, and that they lose sight of everything else.
They're not even enjoying college anymore. It's like everything is a business.
Right. Like I say, like, do the kids deserve to get money? Yeah. Think about Martin. Shoot, we came through there. You know how much money Auburn made off us? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes. I go down there and look at the campus. It's different.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
every time you go down there.
And then you look at these head coaches' salaries. Like, they get rewarded off what the kids are doing on the field.
Oh my God!
So,
you see what they gave Mel Tucker up there, Michigan State?
Right, that's what I'm saying. So I respect all coaches and everything, because they have to go out recruit, and it's not easy. But hot dang though.
Yeah,
what about
I know,
the players? What about the players?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They living in $1 million houses, mansions, and everything. But the players that help them get that money in college, not everybody goes pro. So think about it. Some of the guys that went pro, you know what I'm saying, JP and everything, you go pro, okay, you get a head start in life. But what about the 90% that didn't go? But, like, what about the Rose Green that helped us have an 0-4 great season? You know what I'm saying? What about, you know what I'm saying, like the Wayne Dickens of the world? What about
Tommy Jackson?
You know what I'm saying? What about the Danny Lindsay, Jeremy Ingles? What about those guys that Troy Reddick that didn't make it to the pros, but Tommy Tuberville signed a 4-year multi-million-dollar contract extension? You know what I'm saying? So,
and during that time, you couldn't give him any kind of money.
Right. During that time, we couldn't even get nobody to buy us a hamburger. It was
Bro, and I'm gonna say this though, and I don't know how far it's gonna go, but it seemed like they kind of came out with this NIL deal so quickly, to me, to almost like kind of like push some of the negative publicity that was coming on the NCAA based off of money going here, money going there, to like kind of like push all that to the side. It's like now we bring the money out and everybody's making money, then the stuff that happened in the past that was wrong kind of get swept up under the rug. So I mean, I ain't saying that they did it just to continue to keep that black eye off the NCAA, but for them to rush it out so quickly, like it just made me feel like it should have been a lot more I's dotted and T's crossed before they did something like that to make sure, like you say, it wasn't the Wild Wild West.
Right.
That's exactly what you're saying. You saying they hiding what they did.
Well, the thing is, I think the NIL reason all this stuff came out was because they want to stop, some of the bigger schools from, doing under the table stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I think the NCAA, like, okay, we're tired of having to investigate this school, tired of having to investigate that school. And I think they just like, okay, we just gonna say, y'all do what you want to do from an NIL standpoint. You can't pay on the play, but they can get paid for the name, image, and likeness. So to try to cut out all the illegal stuff. But the only problem with that, though, is a lot of the big schools are going to be so top heavy that I'm afraid it's going to cancel out some of these smaller schools. You know what I'm saying? And like where a kid look at to go to college, they can be like, well, shoot, I can get more if I was playing at this school. But then they pass up on a smaller school, for example, that has a great program, a great opportunity for them to go there, have success, and still go on to the next level.
To the next level.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that still presents that same opportunity, but they so hung up on how much they can get if they was to go to these bigger schools because the SEC has a bigger platform, so they can afford to do more. You don't want that to cancel out the schools in the Conference USA that are really good college programs. So I don't know where it's going to be headed to or what level it's going to get to, but at some point they've got to find some type of way to marginalize it a little bit, because right now it's just all over the place and
top heavy.
Right, exactly, top heavy.
But look, that almost kind of segues us into our next little segment.
I like how you segue that thing.
Segue that thing. You know what I'm saying? We talking about being the top heavy, right? So it's a hot topic right now about the HBCUs. You know what I'm saying? So we got a lot of rumblings going on saying, hey, we should do this, we should do that, we should do this, right? So with it being so top heavy with the NILs for these SEC schools, these top SEC schools, and whatever other top programs, what are your thoughts about just the whole HBCU topic? When I'm saying more black athletes should go there, but then now we got the NIL, so that's a big, huge caveat. That it's like, okay, not only am I giving up, facilities sometime, all kind of amenities, now I might also be giving up my NIL deals. So just talk a little bit about how you feel about that whole situation.
Yeah, first and foremost, like I tell kids, man, just follow your heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, make sure you can't be bought. And what I mean by that is your ultimate happiness can determine a lot of your success. And you know what I'm saying? Like, you can choose to go to a certain school because they offer you more money or something like that. And then once you get to that school, if you only went there for that reason, and then if you there and you're not happy and you go into depressed type mode, like you're already fighting a mental thing now, because you're forced to stay there for 3 to 4 years to fulfill your contract. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Rather than, dang it, I should have went here because that's where I really wanted to go and that's where my heart at, and trusting that can be made happen over there as well, and it can also lead you on to your ultimate desire. But just make sure that you can't be bought. Like I tell guys, look, my dad went to a HBCU. And I grew up going to HBCU games in high school. Only time like I used to love going to the HBCU games when I was coming up. Everybody really at that time, everybody always talked about the halftime shows. Nobody leave the stands at halftime because they always want to see what the band was doing and everything. And but there's so many great players, man, that came through HBCUs that are Hall of Famers. Do you know the NFL has, African American wise, has the most Hall of Famers are from the HBCUs. And you talk about the Walter Paytons, the Jerry Rice, Doug Williams, Shaq Harris, a lot of guys, man, the list goes on of how many guys that are just all-time greats Shannon Sharp, you know, tight end. Like, there's so many that came through HBCUs and everything, and to get to that level, they did it when it wasn't NILs and things. But
yeah,
I think we got to a point where we hit a society roadblock where it was so much racism going on in our country over the last 2 to 3 years that you saw kids saying, okay, I'm gonna choose to go to a HBCU rather than going to a predominantly Caucasian school. And you see that because it's like, okay, is that what you really want to do? Or are you doing that because you feel like you want to make a difference? Or is the community in your ear forcing you to go here? But I tell kids either way, if you go to a HBCU school, great. If you go to a predominantly Caucasian school and that's where you want to go, great. As long as you happy and you're following your heart and it's your decision. Like, don't let anybody else make a decision for you. And the whole thing is about, because it's your ultimate happiness at the end of the day that's gonna matter the most. And we see people all the time that have more money than anybody, and they commit suicides. They're some of the most depressed people, unhappy people, because everything they was doing was to justify money, but they missed out on life. And that's why I tell kids, make sure that you choosing the school based off this is what you want to do. You know, let's be honest. You know, Auburn's of the world, LSU's of the world, Georgia's, Bama's of the world. I mean, they got some of the best facilities you will ever see. Like, who don't want to come home? That's just like coming home. Who don't want to come home to a nice home? Who don't want to drive a nice car? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're an 18 to 22-year-old kid. You want nice stuff. That's why I was happy to see what Deion Sanders did, where Deion came into Jackson State, and he was like, it's a shame these kids have one practice uniform. They have pretty much one uniform for as their jersey, their outfit, game uniform. You know what I'm saying? Like, their facilities are not up to par. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he did what? He put it on notice when it got Jackson State an Under Armour contract. Now these kids got multiple uniforms. They got multiple shoes, multiple practice outfits. Now what they doing? They redoing their facility. So they redoing the facility. So now guess what? When kids come on campus and they come to Jackson State and they see what they're doing, what they're building, it makes them want to be a part of it. Where before, a lot of kids wouldn't go because when they got to campus and they saw some of the facilities, but then you go somewhere else to a nicer facility, you like, shoot, man, they take care of the athletes here. So who
ain't even got AC? Ain't even got no AC over here. Ain't no way.
So you couldn't get mad about that. But my whole thing is, HBCUs, we have to position ourselves to have better facilities and everything, and make sure that our kids matter. You know what I'm saying? Like, make sure the resources are getting to the resources so that these things can get built through grant programs, through city programs. They can help build some of these facilities and everything. Because let's face it, not everybody has the Auburns of the world where people can write a $50 million check from one family. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have that. But as an HBCU, if you went to a HBCU, maybe that $100 that you write every year as a letterman or whatever, if everybody was participate and say, okay, I'm gonna write $100 to the letterman because I went to school there. If you have so many people do that, do you know how
1,000 people? That's 100,000.
You know how much money that is? And now you can help build facilities. That's the difference between, I believe, some HBCUs and when it comes to the Auburns and LSUs of the world, is the Auburns and LSUs of the world, you have multiple people that can write big checks to help facilities and everything. But in our African American community, we always look sometimes to somebody else to write that check. But if you went to school there, dude, sacrifice and say, hey, you know what? All right, I'm not gonna buy shoes this month because I'm gonna write this $100 to Jackson State, Mississippi Valley State, Alcorn State, you know, whatever HBC you want to write the $100 to because you went to school there. If you just do that one time the whole year, but if you go all the way through the history of HBCUs, of graduating classes, and everybody did that that's still living, do you know what that do for the program and the facilities and everything? Because now you're pouring back into your history.
Yeah. I like how you say that too, because like we were sitting there having a conversation with buddy Nashawn, who's coaching offensive line at South Carolina State. And we asked him a similar question, you know, what resources and what they need, right? And the first thing we said was like, of course, like, you know, us as professional athletes, the guys who made money can pick a certain school and give back. But at the same time, like you said, like, it's enough people at these schools who came through these schools that if they didn't give, like, you know, $1 million or $100,000 or $10,000, right, just $100, right? If you got 1,000 people, which we all know you got at least 1,000 alumni still alive, that's $100,000 a year that could be coming into your program, you know, that isn't even accounted for, that can be added to these resources that are needed for the kids. And that's the main thing they need, is they have to have the resources to actually validate them going to these type of schools.
Yeah.
You know?
And like you said, I mean, I think they ultimately they have to prioritize the athletics. You know what I'm saying? I know we come from a rich history of, you know, pushing, trying to get education so much because it was taken from us that we center in on that more so than the athletics. The athletics become secondary. So I think a lot, you know, people do give money back. Like you have your Bill Cosby of the world who give back to Spelman, you know, things like that. So, but they usually give back.
But people always think it has to be multi-millions. It don't have to be multi-million. If you start with $100, you're doing great.
But you see, they always say they $100 got to be focused on athletic though. They giving out, you know, they giving education bills like School of Medicines and all the other stuff, but the athletics are getting left behind. So that's why it got to be more directly, you know, purposely said this is for the athletic program. Like it has to go directly to the athletic program to where they can say, okay, if we build it, they'll come. I think that's where the trade-off is. The PWIs know athletics is where the money is. So they put a lot of money into that, and therefore they reap the benefits. They build a big facility. Now everybody want to come. Now all the money coming.
We got
opposite for
how many of these? Right.
Go ahead.
Think about the Auburn's, LSU's of the world. Like I said, Georgia's, Tennessee's, Bama's. Like everybody eats off the football program.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you got 90,000 people at the game each and every week. Like that 90,000 people that come to the game every week is feeding your basketball program, your girls soccer program, your tennis program, your
every program.
So why you think the head football coaches get paid the most out of anybody on campus? Because their program got to succeed in order for everybody else to eat. So if people realize that, instead of getting jealous of another program, if you in the HBCU, you say, shoot, I want our football team to do great because it has the opportunity to put the most people in the stands, which can also regulate and help the other, bring the most money that can help the others that's at campus, because they can't have that many people to come and watch them run track, come watch them, you know what I'm saying?
Well, it ain't that many people interested in watching you swim. It's just not.
But if you start,
you're not really going to the volleyball game,
right?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So you got to think about it. When we was going to the HBCU games, man, everybody talked about how great the band was. You remember that? Like, everybody looked forward to the band, like, and everything, and that's great. But
people will tailgate during the game.
We have great athletes at HBCUs, man. Like, it's great athletes. Like, I don't think, like, why it shouldn't even be looked down upon because a kid chooses to go to HBCU rather than go to a bigger Division I program. You know, the kid Hunter that just went to Jackson State was the #1 player in the nation, and you know, Deion flipped him and got him to come to Jackson State. Like, and everybody talked about, man, why would this kid do this and that? I'm just like, look. Some people say, oh, he went for the money. Or some people say, oh, he only did this. Like, whatever reason it was, why is it bad? Because he went to HBCU. Like, it shouldn't be bad. Like, that's it's a college like every other college. So, if he want to go to HBCU and that's his desire, then support him in that. You know what I'm saying? But if he chose to go to a bigger Division I, if that's what he wanted to do because he liked the facilities and he like everything else that comes along with it, the accolades, you playing on national TV every week, and you know, you're on CBS, you're on NBC, like, and people can watch you from all across the country because you're national televised. If he chose to do that, you can't fault him for doing that. You know what I'm saying? So it's about like whatever that makes the kid happy, whatever the kid's desire is and everything. Like, we have to make sure that we're not forcing kids to do something against their will just because we want them to make a statement. We need you to stand up
for the
everybody
culture
and go make the statement, right, for the culture. Like, we got to make sure that we're not making these kids go against their will of their decision. If they want to go to a Division I school, let them go. If they want to go to HBCU school, support them and go there. Let them go. Like, let them make their choice and their decision, because at the end of the day, whether they like it or don't, they can live with it. But if you force them to go somewhere that you wanted them to go because you want to see them do something, and then they get there, they don't like it. And plus, this comes with a lot of amount of pressure, because if you go to there and you're a highly talented recruit, everybody's coming for you, and everybody trying to see, what you're doing, or how you handling the success, or how you handling this, because it's just the way it is. Because you're one of very few.
You're one of a kind, bro.
First thing is, bro, we the name of the show, Knee High to the Tree High. You got to give us some story, something funny between me and Ma or something, man. You gotta give me one of them, man. You gotta give us something before you leave, bro.
Oh, y'all recording?
Yeah,
we recording, bro. What you got?
DSGB boys.
Yeah, give me something, boys. Man. Give me something funny, man. We need a funny story.
Man, you know, like I said, man, JP, only thing I got on you for real though, bro, is you like I said, you invented the freaking towel around the neck, bro. Like, it don't matter if you got a polo shirt on, if you got a t-shirt on, like, it don't matter if it's winter, spring, or fall.
You don't talk about the towel, though, bro.
I always see that towel.
You got that thing like that right here, boy.
I was like, and you always sweating, though.
Out of all the stories, you gonna listen. We got all the stories. You gonna hit me with a towel, cuz.
You like somebody old uncle, bro, that walk around the towel around the neck in the neighborhood.
He about to serve communion or something, bro. He got the towel.
You don't understand it. You don't have a bald head, okay? If you had a bald head, you would understand my frustration, man. Okay.
Okay, I got you, bro. I got you. You and Marcus McNeil, not Marcus McNeil. Hi, dang, DeMarco.
Oh yeah.
You and DeMarco, the only two people I know that wear that towel around their neck, like two.
That was part of the uniform. That part of the outfit, man.
Man,
like they barbecuing or something, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Come on, bro. And then know, like Big Mark, Big Mark always be the last one around the tunnel for the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, he always want to be seen. You know what I'm saying? So then when the game, we in the huddle, like, he want to stand with his hand on the hip, kind of looking toward the defense. And then after you done said the play in the huddle, he was like, "Hey, J. Cam, what pass protection you said?"
Hey, what the play is?
Or 80 pro. I was like, well, you put your head, you put your big head, your big Tonka truck. If you drop your head and put it in the huddle, then you might hear the pass pro. You know what I'm saying? But one thing about Big Mark, though, Big Mark be like, "Hey, J. Cam, don't worry about it. I got you, though, bro. I got you." When we played David Pollard, the Georgia game in 2004, David didn't sniff getting close to me. Big Mark locked him up one-on-one the whole game. That's all he kept saying all week. "Coach, no, I don't need no help. Don't give me no help. I'm good. I got you. I got you. Don't even worry about it. I got you." Yeah, I was straight. So, like I said, man, like if Auburn ever can get a left tackle, you and Kendall Simmons are two of the best left tackles, to come through Auburn. Willie Anderson's another big-time offensive lineman that came through Auburn. I'm pretty sure there's one or two more.
Big Steve Wallace
came through there, 3-time Super Bowl champion for the 49ers, blocking for Joe Montana. A lot of people don't know that. Like, Big Steve should be somewhere posterized at the Auburn facility, winning 3 Super Bowls. We've had some studs come through there, man. And like I said, we just got to get to a point, man, where we start recognizing them, so this younger generation don't forget who laid the foundation, that they coming behind. So, I said, like, we joke a lot, but we used to joke a lot in love. You know what I'm saying? Like, we joked about on everybody on the team, from Rose Green, the Carlos all the way down to Lack. Everybody, man. If you was part of the locker room, everybody got jumped on. And I think that's what made it so close.
Everybody
you
get it.
Joked on Brother Chet.
Yeah, I say nobody was saying.
Brother Chet.
Nobody was saying.
Brother Chet joke right back. Right,
nobody
he
was
joke right
saying.
back. So there's a difference between us.
Hey, bro. Hey, I killed Brother Chet one time, man. I remember telling people, like, I remember they asked me to get up and speak for something. And I got to talk about Brother Chet, and I was like, yeah, man, I remember my first day at Auburn. I walk into the grocery store, you know what I'm saying? Somebody come out, and as soon as I walk in, somebody stick up the plate.
Yeah.
Dude come in with the mask on, you know what I'm saying, halfway around his head, give me all the money. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, dang, man, Auburn thugged out. So then later on that afternoon, I go to the FCA meeting, the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and the same dude that robbed the convenience store was our chaplain.
Yeah, they're teaching them about the Bible, man. Talking about thou shalt not steal.
He teaching them about the Bible. Hey, boy, hey. When I told that story, boy, you should have seen Chet face, boy. He was like for real. That might be like my freshman, sophomore year. But like you say, like, we just had fun, man. Like Auburn might have been the funnest practices I've ever had in my life. Cause you didn't mind going to practice. Like you was like, it's practice time. We about to go out here and have a good time for an hour and a half. And it didn't even feel like you was really working. You know what I mean? You was just out there like playing football in the backyard, and I think that was the funnest part for me, bro.
Yeah, we weren't scared to compete either. You know what I'm saying? Like we competed in
we weren't scared. That's why I'm looking at the folks, J Cam. I had to let them know, like, bro, we about to come over here and jump on your head. I ain't worried about what they saying. I'm looking right at you. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Shoot, that's what it is, then, man. You know, look, man, it's always been a pleasure to have you on the show, bro.
Hey,
we
man,
do appreciate it, man.
Y'all
you know
coordinated that way, but both of y'all got on white shirts. You know, I know y'all coordinated
you
that
on
way.
50CK. This is definitely
bro,
great.
You're going to have to clean your lens, bro. You need to get the 10.
You got to clean your lens.
That man on that 680p.
Hey, man.
He got that 50CK.
That man got on gray and I got on white, cuz that's totally different, man.
I thought you moved to Atlanta, man. You ain't supposed to still be in Mississippi. You ain't supposed to get married and move your wife back to Mississippi, man.
Bro, not to no hole in the wall, man. I mean, come on. She got to see at least, see more than one traffic light, man.
The silk where is that?
Man, she got to see more than one traffic light.
The silk where is that?
More than one traffic light. That's all I need.
Hey, you gonna snatch her up.
Let your soul
I see you, man. All right,
y'all. All right, y'all. Y'all just finished watching the Knee High to the Tree High podcast. We hope you all enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, comment below. Tell us your thoughts. We out.